On the day of the engagement, my fiancé Ryan locked me in the villa. His first love wore my custom wedding dress and announced their marriage news at the engagement party I had meticulously arranged. From then on, our family severed all ties with him. Ryan wants to make his first love the chief designer. I've already brought the whole team to switch jobs, do whatever you want. Ryan wants to invite a national star to endorse, best friend, scumbag, do not disturb. The Hu family encountered a big-name contract termination and asked my dad to step in and use his connections. My dad, not familiar, don't bother me. The Hu family's financial chain broke, and they came to borrow money from our family. My mom, no money, not lending. I woke up to my best friend's relentless calls. I was still in a daze when Emily had already blown up the kitchen. Where have you been? Your engagement party. Ryan took Caroline there. I suddenly woke up. What? What is Ryan doing taking Caroline to our engagement party? He seems to be planning to announce his engagement to Caroline. Where are you? Come quickly. Emily was in a panic, and I was also bewildered with anger. The door won't open, I'm locked in. That little Ryan. Last night, he suddenly came to find me and took me to a seaside guest house to drink. We only chatted for a while, and soon I felt drowsy. Today's engagement banquet is something my parents and I have been carefully preparing for 6 months, and I set an alarm clock to ensure I wouldn't oversleep. It seems Ryan had planned this all along, putting something in the drink to keep me from attending. Emily rescued me and brought me to the engagement scene, where I saw Ryan standing on the stage with Caroline's hand in his. She was actually wearing the wedding dress I had custom-made abroad. She so brazenly stood at the engagement venue I had painstakingly arranged, linking arms with my fiancé, accepting the blessings of the guests who had come for me. Everyone, I'm sorry, but due to my incompatible personality with Angela, we have decided to break off the engagement. The person I truly love is Caroline, and today is our engagement party. All the guests present were stunned. Everyone knew that Ryan and I had been betrothed since we were 18. And everyone had taken our family's union for granted. Most of the people present were there to honor the G family's reputation, and such an unexpected turn of events left everyone at a loss. Caroline was immersed in happiness, while a pair of despicable lovers exchanged flirtatious glances, making one feel nauseous. I directly walked up with the security guard, and Ryan probably didn't expect me to show up. His expression changed as he shielded Caroline behind him. Angela, I've already told you that I don't like you, so why do you keep pestering me? I will not marry you, I only love Caroline. I feel so nauseous that I want to throw up. If you don't want to get engaged to me, then why didn't you say anything when the Hu family was about to go bankrupt and came to our family for money? Why didn't you say anything when your family was in debt and my dad had to step in to clean up the mess? I arranged the engagement venue, and I paid for the custom outfits you both wore. How poor are you that you need to drug me and lock me in a room in such a despicable way to get the wedding venue for free? Ryan was left speechless by my scolding, and I directly called the security to go up. I will pay for the venue, throw these 2 unrelated people out for me. You. Ryan and Caroline looked embarrassed, and soon they were awkwardly dragged out by the security. Angela, do you really need to be so calculating? Ryan stared at me and shouted loudly. Wait a minute. Hearing this, the security guard immediately stopped in his tracks. Ryan's expression became smug again, but his happiness lasted only 3 seconds, because I slapped him and tore his clothes off in the process. The clothes I bought with my money, you all have to keep. You are going too far. Angela. Then, the 2 people who were left with only their underwear were thrown out by the security. That night, Ryan's mom came to apologize to her son. Before the decline of the Hu family, they were family friends with us. So even after the Hu family encountered trouble, we did not break off the engagement. Instead, we used all the resources of our family to save the Hu family from impending bankruptcy. Now that the Hu family's business is on the right track, Ryan has started to shake. Angela, this matter is the fault of our family's bastard son. I have already given him a good lesson, and you slapped him too, so please don't be sad about it anymore. It was he who was blinded by that woman and was misled. Ryan's mother was eloquent and forced Ryan to apologize. He looked reluctant, and his apology was extremely perfunctory. Angela, you know that Ryan's dad left early, and it hasn't been easy for me to raise him alone. You've always been the most generous child, so don't hold it against him. How about we hold the engagement party again in a couple of days, and then this matter will be settled. Aunt, today this matter has become a joke. Do you think it can just be brushed off so lightly? I really laughed, and now it's turned into moral coercion. I've already apologized, what more do you want? Angela, don't go too far. I slapped him again, and Ryan finally quieted down. Angela! How could you hit someone? Mama Hua was heartbroken, rubbing her son's face, and said with great distress, how can a girl be so wild and rude? My daughter has done very well, it is your son who is morally corrupt. My mother stepped forward, standing in front of me. At this point, the engagement is off, my daughter cannot suffer such humiliation. Furthermore, it was your son who ruined the engagement banquet, so you will have to compensate for the losses. Why should that be? The Hua family mother and son were furious. Your son brought this upon himself. Either pay up or see you in court. After my mom finished speaking, she waved her hand gracefully, Butler, show them out. Ryan was furious, your whole family is too much. Angela, I've had enough of your spoiled princess temper. You're not even worth a toe of Caroline's. What man would want a woman like you? Just wait and see, you'll never get married. When Ryan was thrown out, he was still cursing incessantly. I feel inexplicably wronged. Ryan used to treat me very well, we were childhood sweethearts, and he has always been very tolerant of my temper. So during the family alliance, even though the strength of the Hua family could no longer compete with the Ji family, I still chose him. But now it seems that Ryan never really liked me, it was all just an act for the support of the Ji family. Now that the Hua family's business has improved, he no longer needs our family's support, and has revealed his true self. Then what do my feelings for him over these years count for? Mom looked at me with red eyes and gently held me in her arms, comforting me. My Angela is the best, don't be sad for someone unworthy. My brother was also afraid that I would be unhappy, so he specially took me on a world tour to cheer me up. I used this time to regroup and plan to start over, but I didn't expect Ryan to be even more shameless than I imagined. When he called, I didn't want to answer at all, so I just blocked him. Before long, a strange number called, and Ryan's unsettling voice came through. Why are you so angry? You won't even answer my calls. If you have to fart, just let it out. You've been resting for so long, it's time to come back to work. D Company wants to collaborate with us on a jewelry show, and I plan to have Caroline as the lead designer. Since you have experience, just assist her a bit. Ryan said it so matter-of-factly that I couldn't help but feel both angry and amused. What is she to make me her assistant? Ryan, your face is really big. Ryan was somewhat infuriated. Angela, your temper is too big. How can you talk to me like this? After all, I am your superior. Not anymore. I want to resign. When I returned from studying abroad, I had already gained some fame in design. In order to save the precarious company of the Hua family, I took the initiative to join Hua's and became the chief designer. Without my efforts to pull resources and connections for him, there would be no today for the Hua family. Yet he still wants me to set Caroline up and support her. I didn't answer any of his calls anymore and directly sent him my resignation letter, along with messages to a few other designers I had brought in. Most of them were brought into the Hua family by me. With Ryan's character, there won't be much development for the Hua family in the future, we can't waste these talents. On the day I returned to the country, Ryan and Caroline, for some reason, had gotten wind of it and specifically blocked me at the airport. Angela, although our engagement has been dissolved, business is business. If you want to resign, can you wait until this jewelry exhibition is over? Cannot. As soon as I finished speaking, he held on to my luggage. The D family has called for you to participate. How can you resign at this time? Yes. Caroline chimed in, Angela, you need to have a broader perspective. How can you ignore the company's well-being just because of our personal grievances? You're being too selfish. Oh? I was wondering why you would lower yourself to wait for me at the airport. So it turns out that without me, you can't secure the D family's collaboration, right? What does it matter to me whether your company lives or dies? I laughed out loud. Ryan, I tell you, resigning is something I must do. But I will still take the collaboration with the D family without fail. What do you mean? I registered a new company, and today I came back to discuss cooperation with the D family. You're crazy. Angela, what are you doing running a company by yourself? How dare you compete with me for collaboration? Who said I was alone? I tilted my head and pointed behind him. Several key designers from the Hua family appeared in unison, throwing their resignation letters at him. We quit. Ryan's face turned pale. You treacherous bunch. A good bird chooses a tree to perch on. What qualifications do you, a thankless guy looking for a mistress, have to say anything? The designers fought back, and Ryan got even angrier. All right, you all go. With me, Caroline, here, the Hua family will only get better and better. You will all regret it in the future. Caroline comforted Ryan, and he calmed down a bit. The two of them snuggled up together again. I couldn't bear to look directly and just took the others away. The collaboration with the D family was almost a foregone conclusion, so I took my sisters who were switching jobs to eat, drink, and have fun, celebrating a bit. As soon as we left, Ryan put in a lot of effort to promote Caroline, not only turning her into an internet celebrity but also organizing a jewelry exhibition for her at the peak of her popularity. Caroline quickly rose to fame during this time, not knowing how much money Ryan had invested in her, packaging her as a talented young girl with remarkable design skills who appeared out of nowhere. Such a character actually attracted quite a few fans, and she quickly became an internet celebrity with 1 million followers. I am busy with the D family's jewelry show and have no energy to deal with them at all. Anyway, my parents said that since Ryan is so untrustworthy, they will never let the Hua family have a good outcome. The Hua family has no resources, and our family has also withdrawn its investment. All those who were friendly with us have cut off their cooperation with the Hua family. Even if he tries to create momentum with Caroline, it won't last long. Ryan had invested too much money in Caroline, but few of her audience were likely to buy jewelry, and he found himself in a bottleneck. The first day of the jewelry exhibition I organized attracted many social elites and received unprecedented acclaim. My work also became popular online, but I never expected that on that very night, I would be trending, followed by a glaring accusation of plagiarism. Moreover, the one accused of plagiarism is still Caroline. Some time ago, Caroline held a jewelry exhibition. The response to the exhibition was good, but when I saw the works, I was taken aback. Isn't this the work I designed before it was? When did it become Caroline's? Some enthusiastic netizens compared my work with Caroline's, and there are indeed a few similarities. Since her event took place earlier, netizens jumped to the conclusion that I plagiarized. I was furious and immediately called Ryan. Faced with my questioning, he shamelessly replied, since it was designed while you were working for the Hua family, it belongs to the Hua family. I'm willing to give it to Caroline, so it's hers. Haven't you already resigned? Then these have nothing to do with you. Ryan, do you have any legal awareness? Even if I work for the Hua family, I still have the right to be credited for those works. What you're doing is blatant theft. Immediately have Caroline withdraw the exhibition and issue a statement of apology, or we'll see each other in court. What evidence do you have to prove that it is your thing? Angela, don't go too far. After saying that, he hung up the phone and refused to answer again. I contacted a lawyer to handle it, but most of these works are drafts I created that I ultimately rejected because I was not satisfied with them. Collecting evidence will take some time. Issues of plagiarism and infringement have always been time-consuming. The exhibition at the D family was affected to some extent, so I had to urgently remove a few controversial pieces and replace them with backup designs. At the same time, a clarifying statement and a lawyer's letter were published online to prove innocence. But the voices online were not pleasant. Caroline's previous persona had deeply rooted itself in people's hearts, and many stood by her, coming to my account to insult me. Do you think that just because you made a statement, you are in the right? Clearly, it was Caroline's work that came out first. The plagiarism is shameless. Resist plagiarizing designers. Why hasn't D family ended their collaboration with her? Choosing us, Caroline, would be so much better. Does this woman have some background to be able to work with D family? I arranged for a lawyer to meticulously preserve evidence of all these slanderous attacks. Once the plagiarism case is resolved, I will take them to court one by one, making them understand that in the internet age, even if they remain anonymous, they must pay the price for their words. When Ryan came to find me, he was aggressive, slamming his hand down on my desk, causing coffee to spill out instantly and stain my white dress. You are going too far, Angela. Why are you slandering Caroline online? You wicked woman. I was so angry that I laughed. Didn't she plagiarize? Is speaking the truth also considered slander? So it turns out you bribed an online user to say she was your mistress? You saw that no one was on your side regarding the plagiarism, so you came up with such a vicious plan? Mistress? I frowned. Although she is indeed a mistress, I haven't mentioned this matter online. You still won't admit it? Who else would use such a vicious method to attack her, besides you? Angela, do you still have feelings for me? Is that why you're retaliating against me like this? You even had your parents withdraw their investment, constantly sabotaging my company. My parents can use their money however they want. Why should it be spent on you? If you get in trouble, that's your own fault. Stop being stubborn. I know you still have feelings for me. But I won't be with you. However, if you don't want me to hate you, then be smart about it. Withdraw the lawsuit quickly, and apologize online admitting that you plagiarized, and let's settle this. Also, have your parents return the investment money, and we can still be friends. With such thick skin, who would want to be friends with you? Ryan angrily shouted, "You worthless bitch." A resounding slap landed on his face, and my hand felt a bit numb. I should have known to hit him with something instead. Ryan, you and Caroline are the real jerks. It's a fact that she is the mistress, and if it were me, I wouldn't have anything to hide. I'm not like you. Don't make a fuss in front of me before you have all the facts, or I'll sue you for defamation. You. Ryan was furious and wanted to retaliate, but the security guard I called arrived just in time and held him back. Throw him out. Anyone who lets him step into the studio again won't need to come to work anymore. Two security guards were holding Ryan, who was still struggling in anger. Let go of me. Angela. Wait a minute. I stopped the security guard, and Ryan smiled proudly. Now you know to be nice to me. Damn. As my coffee splashed onto his face, he let out a sharp scream, and before he could rush over, I waved my hand for the security to throw him out. After Ryan failed to confront and seek justice, Caroline began to stir up trouble. Caroline started a live stream, appearing pitiful, crying and turning black and white upside down in front of the camera. Ryan and I liked each other when we were 18, but at that time, his family went through a crisis, and in order to save the family business, he had no choice but to get engaged to Angela. Both he and I are in great pain, but Angela's family is wealthy. It's my fault for being just an ordinary girl who can't help him with anything. I can only bury this feeling deep in my heart. In these years, both Ryan and I have had a hard time. He worked very hard to get the bankrupt company back on track, and finally, he no longer has to rely on that woman. That's why we got back together. I originally thought that after waiting for him for so many years, we could finally be together. However, Angela did not let us off the hook. She accused me of plagiarism, called me a mistress, and her family has been targeting Ryan's company, threatening to bankrupt him. It's a pity that Caroline doesn't become an actress. As she spoke, tears streamed down her face, as if a mistress were the victim herself. I really don't know what to do anymore. We just love each other and want to be together, so why do we have to be bullied like this? I can handle anything, but I really don't want to see all of Ryan's hard work over the years go to waste. If the Hu family really gets ruined again, what are we going to do? It's my fault, perhaps I shouldn't be with him, maybe Ryan wouldn't have to suffer so much. Caroline covered her face and began to cry. I thought such poor acting wouldn't convince anyone, but surprisingly, her fans were all comforting her. You are already amazing, and you will definitely find your soulmate. We will all support you. That Angela is so despicable, relying on her family's wealth to force them apart. Is she unable to get married herself? She insists on forcing a man who doesn't like her to be with her. So malicious, she falsely accused you of plagiarism out of unrequited love, and even called you a mistress? Please, you two are in love, she is the mistress, right? Can Angela just die, so that this doomed couple can be together? The harsher the netizens criticized, the harder Caroline performed, and it was at this moment that Ryan appeared. Baby, don't cry anymore. Don't say such things. In this life, I have only loved one woman, and it has been you who has suffered waiting all these years. No matter how Angela persecutes me, I will never let go of your hand again. Ryan said, as he pulled Caroline into his arms. Ryan, I also find it hard to part with you. The two people embraced each other and wept, putting on a grand emotional performance. I feel like I'm going to be sick, but clearly, they achieved their goal. This performance won them a lot of support, and Caroline gained 1 million more fans. Now I completely understand who leaked the news about Caroline being the mistress. Her move is truly brilliant. Taking advantage of this wave of popularity, Ryan hasn't forgotten to run an advertisement. Caroline designed a new product based on our love story, which will be endorsed by the national goddess Emily, to be released in mid-next month. I hope everyone can witness it together at that time. This wave of advertisements received widespread support. I was a bit surprised. Emily, my good friend, how could she possibly endorse those two, Ryan and that woman, knowing what they did? Sure enough, when I contacted Emily, she also looked completely bewildered. What? When did I take on his endorsement? How come I don't know? I'll ask my agent. After a while, she angrily returned the call. How shameless. The Hu family sent me a collaboration message, and I didn't even reply to him? He actually dared to publicly announce that I accepted the endorsement. Is he trying to force me to agree? I am also powerless to complain. I truly underestimated their shamelessness. You can rest assured, I will clarify it right away. Caroline and Ryan are still advertising over here, and Emily's clarification has already been sent out. I have never collaborated with the Hu family, and there will never be such a possibility in the future. The ungrateful scumbag and his mistress, who play the victim and plagiarize like a white lotus, are not worthy. My good friend Angela is the best designer who speaks with her strength. Caroline certainly has some fans, but Emily, as the national goddess, has an impressive fan base. In just a few minutes, I rushed into Caroline's live broadcast room. How shameless can you be? What right do you have to ride on Emily's popularity? She doesn't even know you. And endorsing. That's just too fake. Scumbag. Angela and Emily have always had a good relationship, it can't be a bad person. Ryan felt a bit awkward for a moment, stammering an explanation after being scolded into a daze. It might be that there was a problem with the business negotiations. I don't know why Emily didn't agree, which caused a misunderstanding. But Emily's fans directly confronted him, leaving him speechless. What issues are there in business connections? Show the evidence, otherwise it will be assumed that you want to gain attention without compensation. Ryan and Caroline couldn't explain it and were at their wits' end, trying to change the subject. I also received a call from the studio. What should I do? The situation is getting worse, and many people are calling the studio to harass them, cursing as soon as the phone is answered. If this continues, the exhibition is likely to be affected. The people in the studio were anxiously calling me. I was just getting ready to go live and confront Caroline. Don't worry, I'll take care of this today. When I stepped in to connect with them, Ryan and Caroline clearly seemed a bit guilty. What? What are you afraid of? Let's clarify the grievances between us in front of the online audience today. What else do you have to say? You have money and connections, even big stars stand up for you, how are we your match? Caroline said, about to cry again. Good grief, she never misses a chance to throw dirt on me. Emily stood up for me. It's true, but isn't it also true that you pretended to represent her? And you say I broke you up, may I ask, when Ryan was pursuing me, were you two together? Did you tell me about this? I sneered. If I knew Ryan didn't like me, I wouldn't even glance at him. You deliberately concealed it, using my family's assets and connections while deceiving my feelings, being together behind my back. May I ask who the mistress is? Don't you have any self-awareness? Although a long time has passed, I'm glad that I wanted to preserve our memories of love back then, and I saved quite a bit. These are the love letters Ryan wrote when he was pursuing me, along with the chat records. Whether I forced it or he pursued me actively, everyone can understand, right? Oh, right. There's also the chat record where Caroline persuaded me to be with Ryan. You directed and acted in this, pushing me into the fire pit, and then turned around to play the victim. How thick-skinned can you be? Ryan and Caroline looked pale and could only barely argue. Well, if it weren't for the fact that only your family could save the Hua family at that time, how could we have done that? Strong words and unreasonable arguments. Are you the one who plagiarized? Was I the one who forced you? These are the original drafts I designed. At that time, I was working at the Huas because of love, and it took me some time to find these drafts. There are clear timestamps on them, enough to prove that she is the real plagiarist. The audience coming to watch the excitement rushed into the live broadcast room, reaching an unprecedented level of heat, and now the ones who were severely criticized became Caroline and Ryan. They saw that the situation was not right and directly ended the broadcast. Due to a large number of online users sending abusive messages, Caroline's account was quickly deactivated. Even the Hua family's account was not spared and had to disable comments. And I, on the contrary, gained quite a bit of attention from this incident, and the D family's exhibition received unprecedented focus. After pretending to be dead for a while, the Hua family quietly launched Tian Mi's new product. But as soon as the new product was released, there were criticisms everywhere, and the losses for the Hua family were quite severe. They were counting on this to turn things around. But as soon as Caroline and Ryan appeared for the promotional event, they were immediately pelted with rotten eggs, and the outraged audience almost rushed up to beat them. The two people fled in a panic. Their new product sales were dismal. What's even worse is that a few days later, someone came forward to accuse the new product from the Hua family of stealing the design work of an intern, claiming it was not Caroline's design at all. Now, the Hua family has been caught in the eye of the storm even more. With my lawyer's letter added, the Hua family is now really overwhelmed with the lawsuit. After our family withdrew our investment and I took the designer with me, the Hua family became nothing but an empty shell. They were counting on hyping up Caroline to revive the Hua family, but it only made their situation worse. Now, the Hua family is truly finished. After struggling for a while, Ryan finally couldn't hold on any longer and came to find me, but was stopped by the security guard at the door. He waited outside for an entire afternoon, and it was only when I got off work that I saw him still holding a bouquet of flowers and a gift, waiting for me. Angela, can we talk? I didn't look at him much, I couldn't. Angela, the Hua family has been supported by you alone, and you have invested so much effort into it. You wouldn't want to see the Hua family collapse, would you? Ryan chased after him, speaking without shame. After I left the Hua family, it had nothing to do with me anymore. Are you really that heartless? Ryan grabbed my hand. Isn't it because of Caroline? Fine, I'll break up with her, we can get back together, just let go of the Hua family. I really laughed and shook off her hand. You think too highly of yourself, why not share some of that confidence with others? In my eyes, you're like dog shit, just seeing you makes me feel disgusted, get lost. I got in the car and drove away, leaving Ryan standing there. Hua could see that I really couldn't hold on any longer, so he began to persistently call and message me. I completely ignored him, and finally one night he couldn't take it anymore and called me from dozens of different numbers. "Don't hang up, Angela, please. I'm standing on the bridge over the Shijiang River right now. Angela, help me, I really can't go on living. You know, the Hua family is my only hope, and my mom has been sick from worry lately. I really can't keep going. Angela, I know I was wrong, I admit my mistake, isn't that enough? Please give me a way out." Ryan on the other end of the phone seemed really about to cry. He even started reminiscing about our past. "Angela, considering our past relationship, can you help me one last time and save the Hua family, please?" Before, I was completely misled by Caroline. When she saw that the Hua family was about to go under, she immediately packed her things and left. Now she's even involved with an older man. I really can't believe my eyes. "Angela, only you have truly treated me well, and I only understand that now. I promise you, as long as you forgive me, I will never make such a mistake again, okay? Stop dreaming, Ryan, I don't recycle trash here." "Angela, are you really so heartless as to not care about me? If you don't agree to me, I'll jump down from here today and die in front of you." I laughed scornfully. "Jump, don't pollute the Shijiang River. I suggest you jump into the Ganges, that would suit you better." Having said that, I hung up the phone. Ryan did not really seek death, but the Hua family has truly gone bankrupt. The villa where the Hua mother and son lived has also been acquired, leaving them homeless, and they surprisingly found their way to our house. "Angela, you've seen my current situation. No matter how much you hate me, it should be enough to vent your anger. We are truly at our wits' end, without a penny to our name. Please take us in for a while. Our family does not do charity." I was at a loss for words, not expecting Ryan's mom to come up and grab me directly. "Daughter-in-law, my son is a fool. In the past, he was bewitched by that vixen. Men, after all, are young, and it's normal to make mistakes occasionally. Please forgive him. Back then, when they ruined the engagement party, their attitude towards me was truly like night and day. I had already severed ties with your son at the engagement banquet. If you continue to meddle, I will have the security escort you out." "Angela, Angela." They wanted to catch up, but were directly stopped by the security outside. "If you come looking for me again, don't blame me for calling your creditors." They were still deep in debt, and if the creditors came, they would be in big trouble. The two of them left, unwilling and indignant. It is said that two people rented a house in the urban village. Ryan searched everywhere for a job, but his past actions had already made him notorious, and no one would hire him. He could only go to the construction site to carry bricks, and his mother had to go out to wash dishes. Caroline is living well. I saw her at a banquet once. She was being embraced by a bald man, someone I know, in his 60s, with a son older than Caroline. She really doesn't have high standards. The man embraced Caroline, unabashedly touching her in public, and when encountering other partners who also laid hands on her, he surprisingly did not stop them. Caroline looked very wronged, but did not dare to explode. Her eyes were filled with humiliation. When she saw me, she lowered her head in some embarrassment. "Mr. Zhao is notorious. Every woman who follows him is treated like a toy. When doing business, he often takes them along to drink, and sometimes even gives them to his partners. Such a beast, Caroline really has no way out and still dares to follow him." Emily quietly complained to me. Respecting the fate of others, she wants money, that is the path she chose for herself. Hopefully, she won't regret it. In a nutshell, who would have known that within half a year, news of Caroline's imprisonment would arrive? I said before that Zhao is not a good person. Caroline following her is just a tool being traded. It hasn't been long, and now she's been diagnosed with an illness. That Zhao just abandoned her. Caroline was so unwilling, feeling that it was that Zhao who had infected her, that in a fit of rage, she drove and killed Zhao. She was also arrested. Sigh. It seems she would have to spend the rest of her life in prison. Emily was gossiping, a bit wistfully. But the path was chosen by her. and some endings cannot be blamed on others. When did you become so philosophical? Emily leaned on my shoulder. Forget it, let's not talk about her. There's a party tonight with 188 long-legged models, are you going? I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Go.